Exclusive Battlefield 4 gameplay for you. I'm flying the scout helicopters, and I gotta say, these little things are so much more fun to fly. They were a lot of fun to fly in Battlefield 3, but they're even more agile now. And with the increased graphics of Battlefield 4, the explosions, the water effects, the enhanced destructibility, everything about this game just makes it so much more fun to fly the scout helicopters. You'll notice when I'm firing at these boats here, the miss shots when they hit the waves, the effect from the water flying up in the air just looks so cool. You'll notice that I have a guy on the side seat of the little bird. That's Drifter. He's another YouTuber, and he was actually really good at PTFOing with me. We were trading off piloting and backing each other up in the scout helicopters, and having him as a repper and an RPGer was really helpful for taking out boats on the water. Those big boats there, if they're outfitted with anti-air specs, they can actually defend themselves pretty well against little birds. Check out this little duel here. This guy's flying backwards. I'm able to take him out of the air, and just those graphics again, everything looks so much more enticing visually. Now, if you're a big fan of helicopter piloting, there's some good news for all the scout heli pilots out there. It seems like the front glass on the little bird is going to deflect bullets now. I didn't test this thoroughly, but I did try shooting at pilots, and I know a lot of the guys on the ground were trying to shoot me out of the helicopter, and it seemed like they could shoot me from the side, but straight on was very difficult for them. So there's definitely going to be a much greater survivability in the little birds. I think this is a good design change, just because before it was so ridiculous how frequently pilots would get shot out of the little birds, and you see these helicopters crash land and then somebody else would pick it up, and it was kind of just this ridiculous scene to see over and over again. Now the guys on the ground are going to have to be much more reliant on stingers or other types of rocket launchers for taking me out, or they're going to have to wait till I fly by and shoot me out from the side. Something that's really cool is the people who sit on the sides of the little bird now have a really good angle of attack. You'll see that Drifter is hitting a lot of things with the rockets even though I'm flying directly at it. So people sitting on the side can actually shoot directly in front. They don't have the best angle in the world, but they can still hit targets that you're going head on for. So this gives you like this sort of dual attack option now. So now when you're sitting in the side of the little bird, you don't feel quite so useless. You're definitely very exposed, but you can help for taking out armored targets. Now check out this assault on the attack boat here. I'm able to take out the two gunners on the back of the boat without actually destroying the boat itself or killing the pilot. Then this boat on the ground finishes it off for me, but I like the fact that you can take out the gunners on the side of the boat, and doing a strafe over a boat with a little bird can be very successful even if you don't end up destroying the entire boat itself. All around, the scout helicopters really just do feel like much more solid and versatile platforms. They're more agile. The pilots can't be shot out as easily. The people sitting on the sides can not only repair, but they can actually fire at targets that you're engaging now. One thing that does make piloting a little bit more difficult, or not so much piloting, but at least picking off ground targets, is spotting. Now, we've all seen the ground spotting animation where the soldier sort of points at a target when you want to designate it for your teammates or for yourself to better be able to shoot it at range. That little red triangle really does make it a lot easier to pinpoint your targets and zero in your reticle on them. But from the piloting seat, your spotting pretty much works the same way, where you can't spam it quite as much as you could in Battlefield 3. So this is going to make you reserve your spot function for when you think there are some enemies. It was a little bit difficult to get used to, but once I got the hang of it, I noticed that, I wasn't quite as effective at letting my entire team know where the bad guys were. As before, when you had a helicopter, you could kind of hit Q over a whole city and it would like bring up like 10 targets or something in the city. Now I'll hit Q and maybe one, maybe two guys will pop up, and then I can sort of choose between those two targets, and I can't just keep spamming the Q. I have to go after those targets, wait for my spot to recharge. It's just, you feel like you don't have that all-seeing eye anymore, and I think that's actually a really good balancing factor, especially considering how much better the scout helicopters feel. It's also a really rewarding feeling for being able to just, with your naked eye, spot somebody in the jungle running by, turn your crosshairs, fire on them, get the kill. It looks much more realistic. It feels like a more real experience when you take out those targets that aren't spotted. Now this clip here especially really does look like I'm just absolutely dominating with no resistance. And it's not so much that the little bird is incredibly overpowered here, it's that the guys on the ground aren't really picking up stingers. You know, this was a exclusive little event. A lot of the guys weren't super familiar with Battlefield, so they weren't aware of all the anti-air tactics. And there we go, I get taken out by an actual stationary rocket launcher. But Daskro was on the other team at times, and he was spawning with stingers all the time. He was making it very hard for me to just come in on general strafing runs, because he would lock me. I would have to hide. Sometimes he would shoot me down. So players who know what they're doing, the little birds are going to have a tough time against them. The scout helicopters, rather, are going to have a tough time against them. So I know I'm making it look easy here, not really flying too dangerously. I'm just kind of casually strafing over targets, but I will promise you, as soon as you get players in here spawning with stingers or using those wire-guided rockets, the ones that you can actually change the trajectory of once they're in flight, it's going to be very difficult for pilots going up against those. So there will be some very good balancing factors in here. Now, aside from the helicopter gameplay, my overall experience playing on the new Paracel Storm map was just amazing. This map is so visually stunning. I mean, you can see it from the footage here. I really just haven't seen anything that has looked quite this gorgeous in any Battlefield game to date. The wave physics, once the storm starts, it looks crazy. I mean, just look at me going after this attack boat here. It just looks incredible. The wake, the explosions, the way that the sparks fly off the boat when my minigun tears through it. Just visually, I know a lot of people have been saying, you know, it's Frostbite 3.5 or whatever, but they have done so many graphical improvements to the point where when you get in this game, there's going to be an immersion level that has been unlike anything before. A lot of people have been commenting on the sound in my gun videos. The sound engine is just phenomenal. The first game, Battlefield 3, had such a good sound engine. It won all these awards for sound, and it's just gotten even better. So just things that you weren't even like asking DICE to improve upon, you're like, no, this is already good, have gotten better, and it's just kind of phenomenal. And I know I sound super fanboyish right now. I'm really excited, and that's because I am legitimately super freaking excited for this game. So that pretty much wraps up this video for Scout Helicopter gameplay. It is totally as fun as it looks here, and I gotta stop watching it because it's making me want to play Battlefield 4 a lot, and I'm super impatient. I can't wait for that beta to come out.